Hi everybody, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to this week's Mixed Media Soul Sparks. I'm glad you're joining me this week for another week of inspiration for what you might do with your mixed media work. Ideas for painting. This week I want to look at design elements, and this is just to give you a starting point for possibly a series. And I love to work with circles. They have, I don't know, they just have some symbolic meaning for me that I like. It's about the journey. And I'm going to just be showing you some ideas of how you can incorporate a single element, no matter what that element might be that you choose. So I'll be showing you some things for circles. But another way might be, let me just show you this. This is just a craft paper from, the craft store. And it's just different alphabet letters that they've done some fun things with. So just another way to give you an idea. Perhaps you're going to choose alphabet, or maybe you're even going to choose one letter of the alphabet. Just like circles could be considered just the O or a zero even. So maybe it's numbers, maybe it's triangles. You get the idea. It could just be about anything. And I'm going to show you some of these papers here. So I've got lots of different ideas of what constitutes circles. Now these are some beautiful papers. They come in a sheet and they have this fine paper connecting them here. But I can take them apart and even remove some of that paper to where I have just the circles starting to show. This was a chart that just had a lot of different size dots. I cut it up. Great graphic elements are a great way to bring your eye around. And then I painted it. There's another one. You could call this circles. It's more like spirals. This one is wax in here, so it makes the paper transparent, so you can go through to see other things. Circles being openings, more circles, more spirals. This one I actually took and I painted the waxy part on the back side, so it shows up a little bit here, but I could use either side. You can cut out circles. This one has circles embossed. I like to have all of these things, and they don't necessarily all end up in the piece. Here's even a target. And let's go over here. I'm going to show you how I did these circles. This is another paper that had like stitching on paper and circles, and I painted it. More of my dots. And this is artist tack. It's a great way to do dry mounting, and it's just little dots of glue. Not glue so much, but adhesive, a dry adhesive. And it's great for working with opaque papers. You don't want to work with something transparent because you'll see those little dots. But working with these kind of papers, it's really easy to use. And I wanted to show you this. So here was the paper that I did these other circles from. And I used the Inktense water-soluble pencils. Just drew onto here, and I'm just going to take a wet, well, I got color on there. Let me get just a wet brush with water. You see how much color there really is in there. So I've got the most intense color at the edge, and I can start to pull it out toward the middle. And another way to do it is to just, here, I'll go over to this one. First get the paper wet. And then you can come in and you can see how intense the color is from these. It's like watercolor, so it will rehydrate. So when you go to glue it on, if you're using a gel or a glue, you need to be careful that it doesn't continue to spread. Or maybe that's what you want. So that is another way to work with these pieces. And when it's wet, you can even just come in and tear it, or you can just cut around. And I've got a little edge there on that, so I can still kind of have a, oops, trying to cut it. I guess it doesn't like to be cut when it's wet. All right, I'll just pull it the rest of the way. There we go. So I've got all of these pieces, and I can start to figure out a composition, even layering things, working with all of these pieces. How might they come together in a composition? And with all of these pieces that I have here in circles, you know, I could probably end up with at least 3 pieces from all of these. Not everything has to go into it. In fact, sometimes the simpler design is the more interesting. Maybe you're even going to have big pieces, edges. You kind of overlap and break up those edges. Bring something over into here. And I like to play like this before I even commit to gluing anything down. It's all about just exploring, experimenting. And for this one, I'm just looking at all circles. You've even got this other piece. But what if you want to introduce some other elements into here? Let me get this out of the way, and I'll show you what I mean by a few other pieces. Where's this piece I had? Here it is. Now I could introduce, this is a light molding paste that I put through a stencil. And it's got plant material or indication of bamboo, but when I introduce the circles, it ties in with that theme. So it doesn't have to be exactly all circles. This is your challenge, so you can make up your rules. So the challenge I'm going to give you is to, I'll just show you this one. See if it's sticky. So you just kind of keep it on this sheet. Yeah, there it's sticky. So what you do is you just take your piece of paper, put it down there, and then you just burnish it. You could just use the scissors. And you take it and peel it off of there, and it's got all of the sticky stuff on the back. So then you can just start to layer your pieces. Now I can just keep it in here until I'm ready to glue it. Nice, handy, again, it's artist tack. It's a double-sided, not a double-sided adhesive. This is a little different, but it's a permanent adhesive. And this is what I want to show you. So this piece goes like this. This piece is mainly a theme of circles. So I've got circles, 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 but I've also got some underlying lines in there. But it is a circle theme. So you see how you can build up on these layers. This is like a companion piece that could go with it color-wise. Circles, but I've also introduced some squares. So perhaps you're going to do a series using geometrical shapes. Maybe one is going to be circles, maybe one's going to be squares, another one might be triangles. So you set up your series, how you might use it. Maybe one is just circles, this one adds something else. Here's another idea of using rectangles. So this one is embedded. This is crackle paste, kind of loose rectangles. But the color theme, it kind of fits in. I can add stuff to it. So even if you start with an idea of one element and then you work with it and you add some other shapes, it's a wonderful way to create a series of work that you can build on one theme. You can focus on that so you don't have to go, oh, what am I going to create today? You're going to create circles. You're going to create squares. And you're going to continue it. Maybe you do one with circles and you change the colors. So here is your challenge for the week. And you could do this easy enough in a sketchbook. You could do it as a collage, like what I showed you with all these papers. Kind of like, think of it like a treasure hunt. Maybe you're looking for papers that have circles or squares, or flip through a magazine and you're looking for certain shapes. See what you can find. And then create your collage using the artist tack or just gluing it down or even taping it down. It's a great way to get some ideas to even make a larger painting. So I'm going to finish at least one of these and show you what it looks like with all these little elements that I've made. And I will see you next week. Please post your work on the Creative Awakening website on Facebook. It's not the website, it's on Facebook. So put your work out there. Let's see what you're doing. If you want some feedback, put it up and we'll take a look. Thanks for joining me this week, and I will see you next week. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag #MixedMediaSoulSparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.